Good morning, guys. I'm going to be going over a worksheet that I'm going to be sending you and attaching to your Google Classroom today. Hopefully you had a chance to watch the video on Introduction to Decimals. So I'm going to give you this sheet here and let me just talk you through it real quick. So the video talked about the number line, and we also did spend a lot of time this year talking about fractions. When we talk about fractions, we're talking about all these parts between 0 and the number 1, okay? And then we talked about mixed numbers, which would be numbers starting with 1 and then all the spaces in between 1 and the next whole number, okay? So for example, we can talk about the number line being divided into 10 parts. So we talk about 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, yada, yada, yada. You guys remember all of this as fractions. Well, these fractions can also be represented in something called decimals. Okay, so when you see 0.1, we're talking about 1/10. 0.2, 2/10. 0.3, 3/10, and so forth and so on. Okay. The digit right after the decimal point, such as the digit 3 and 0.3, tells us how many tenths that number has. Okay, so if you're confused as to what this is, we're talking about, let's take a look at 0.4. We're talking about 4 for what? 4/10. Okay, look at the example they have here. 0.6 means 6/10. Okay, just as a side note, we're talking about splitting this space here into amounts of 10. So you'll see it as tenths, hundredths, you saw in the video, thousandths, 10,000ths. You're not going to see it split into 8 or 7 or 13. We're talking about amounts of 10. So if you take a look at this blue note here, it says 1.8 is not 0.8. Okay, 0.8 is 8/10. The denominator in this case is always going to be 10. Okay, getting back to our mixed numbers, remember when we talked about 1 and 5/10? Okay, you can write that as a decimal as well. What you're going to do is you're going to stick that 1 to the left of the decimal point. Okay, 1.5 is 1 and 5/10. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. What I would like for you to do is I'm going to attach this document to your Google Classroom. Go ahead and you could either print it to work on it, or you should be able to edit the document. If you can't edit the document, go ahead and get a separate sheet of paper and just write down the answers for 1, 2, and 3. 3, you're going to probably want to draw out the boxes as best you can, okay? And then we will get back together during our next session and go over how we did on decimals, tenths. Okay, and you guys are bright. This should be easy peasy for you.